always say, be careful what you wish for. And when anyone suggests that you do something on air, don't say yes immediately, because I did agree to having guest co-hosts. And first up is Greg Meakin, and he's obviously been a fan of the show, part of the show, a family member for a hot minute, and an author and a talker and a streamer and a podcaster. He was definitely first up to bat. Now Rhonda just popped in, and Rhonda, you're on deck, by the way. So the first Tuesday of March will be your day. You are going to be the guest co-host. So Greg, thank you for being here, man. I always love our talks. I love your friendship. I love your mentorship. I love it all. I appreciate you. Glad to have you here, pal.
God, that's so nice. That's so nice. Seriously, Mike, we go a ways back. You always got to reference stuff. When you get to be an old bastard like me, you got to reference stuff. You got to quantify stuff. March 9th, 2000.
That
was your first show. Deborah and I, my wife, we are total political wonks, as you know. We listened to a competitor of your guys' terrible show.
Oh, we were on there too. We were on there for a hot minute. We escaped, yeah.
But we're in the desert, parked at the sunset, as we do every night. Listen, and we say, wait a minute, 4:00. Who are these guys? Russell and Hunter. Who are these guys? I'm a libertarian from Quebec, Canada, former liberal, voted for a Trudeau twice, his dad. And I'm sitting down there saying, listen, this is Rob Hunter and Mike Russell. Who are these guys? And as it turns out, honestly, the truth is easy to sell. And the truth is I've been your guys' biggest fan since the very beginning. And if I would have told you, Mike, if I would have told you 5 years ago, I just retired. I mean, literally just retired. Washington State retired me early. They put me out to pasture because of a bad hip. And listening to the radio show. And if I would have told you that before I get my hip replacement within a few months, that I would have published a book, just in case I was going to die, publish a book, get it off your to-do list. Everyone publish your own book, get it off your to-do list.
Bucket list. Yeah.
Bucket. Oh, you should see my bucket, dude. Anywho,
this is family programming. We have no desire to see your bucket, Greg.
I wrote a 40,000 word manuscript in 27 days. Because I was going in for my first surgery of my life, hip surgery, and my doctor couldn't promise me that I was going to live through surgery. I'd never been to surgery. So, probably why I came to America and what I think now. And page 163 was, guess what? Russell and Hunter, dude. Russell and Hunter. I was so passionate about you guys. So here we are. If I would have told you that I'd been on a long live stream, and by the way, it's radio, Mike, get this, radio. Mm-hmm. This comes right out of London, England. Okay. Radio means friggin' live. Okay. Live, not taped, not recorded, etc. Then it'll be platformed and streamed everywhere in the world. But the key is the live, exactly what you and I have here right now. Thank you for having me on. It's going to be awesome. You guys got rock stars in your chat room. And I'm seriously, Mike, if I get emotional today, right? Remember,
get it, buddy. Let's go. I'm not crying. You're crying.
That's right. I can't get through an episode of Field of Dreams without crying, dude. Here we go.
But then they say have a catch. And I don't know what kind of Canadian socialism that is, but have a catch. No one has a catch. And then all the waterworks go away. I'm totally okay with that because I'm laughing at him now and say, you take your communist speak somewhere else. I do want to say this because Grizz did mention, he said America versus Canada. Greg's book is something you got to check out. This is why I came to America. Yeah, and the dueling citizenship, because dual citizenship to me sounds like you're bisexual. It's just like just pick a side. Well, just pick the damn side. Tell me about dual citizenship. You're Canadian and you're an American. Talk to me, please.
Well, you kind of are. Think Justin Trudeau. Okay, so you're kind of bi, right? Anywho,
yeah.
I didn't think, Mike, seriously, I didn't think a dual citizen would have any value. What are you talking about? I was seriously blessed to have been born in the U.S., Portsmouth, New Hampshire, live free or die, but raised my entire life in Montreal. I got full citizenship in both countries when I was 15. So again, it just I joked with Sheriff Lamb the other day because we talk brand, and mine's dueling citizens. Dueling citizens means, and I've thought this for my entire life, 66 years, dude, is I believe we agree on 80% of stuff in life. All of us. And it's the 20% we all wrangle about. So I've always said dueling citizens means Let's get on the ice together. Let's duke it out. Let's talk it out. Let's go libertarian. But then come to common ground and hopefully have a common mission moving forward. And that said, that is the brand. That was the book. And to this moment, I really think guys like you and I live and breathe that. Seriously,
Yeah,
it's find
sure.
our common ground. So there's lots and lots about the whole thing and coming back to hockey and everything else. But bottom line, Duel said it really was, Mike. It was a really wanting to put on the record permanently what my views were from my heart. And I recommend everybody out there do that.
Write a book. No, it's careful you say that. How many times, and I'm sure they've come to you and done the same thing, Greg, is that it's the hey, I want to start a podcast. I'm like, okay, sure. About what? Sure. I want to do a drink review on martinis in the valley. I'm like, okay, what are you going to do the third week? Exactly. Like it's not something for everybody, but writing a book, you say, might be something, just your memoirs, just throw them down there. Is that what you're saying?
Well, right now in this day and age, I mean, 5 years ago, there wasn't AI, Mike. I mean, literally do a table of contents of what you want to put down in a book, and seriously have AI help you on that. I don't do AI this second. That's like a policy, but there's so many publishing options for people, and cheap or free. Everybody's got a book in them, Mike. Everyone's got a book in them. So just do it. Here's my table of contents. Something go ahead, AI, find a nice writer, script, chat GPT, give me an outline or whatever, and just do it. And really, everyone's got a book in them, including you, Mike Russell. You never know. Maybe we'll collaborate on something like that. Corporate Beer Drinkers of America or something.
I'm working on one for the outdoors called Fun is Hard Work, and Outdoors Dad to Indoor Kids. So I will, I'm excited to have you here. We are going to go back and forth, but I do not know. We'll talk hockey. I know we're going to talk hockey. Or as I call it Canadian soccer. So, okay. So we'll keep going. I know you can bring me around, champ. Can we all celebrate something though? Can we all celebrate something that is good for America, good for Canada? I would say good for the entire world is something that happened this very morning. Check it out.
To bow down to a tyrant. I've always believed it's the job of the press to hold power to account. I've always tried to do that here at CNN, and I plan on doing all of that in the future. One final message. Don't give in to the lies. Don't give in to the fear. Hold on to the truth and to hope. Even if you have to get out your phone, record that message. I will not give in to the lies.
I will not.
I will not give in to the fear. Post it on your social media so people can hear from you too. I'll have more to say about my plans in the coming days, but until then, I want to thank all of you for tuning in. It has been an honor to be welcomed into your home for all these years. That's the news. Reporting from Washington, I'm Jim Acosta.
Hasta la Costa, brother. Hasta la Costa. You gone, buddy. You gone. You are part of this. This is part of the election. You understand, Jim Acosta, you got Trump elected. It's you and your ilk that do this. This is my CNN face. Anytime they talk about Trump or they're listening to a talking head talk about Trump, ready for this? Is all of them like this. This just I am so much better than you when we're listening to a story about a tyrant who could be Adolf Hitler himself. That is their entire look. That entire station is squat. And Jim Acosta being the first to get the boot is just, it's celebratory.
Dude, isn't that like exciting to watch? This is great. I've said this is going to be the year of transparency and justice. I keep saying that. Watching Jim Acosta come to grips with the fact that he now has no control, no reach, and he's part of the peanut gallery. You ever heard the peanut gallery?
Oh, yeah. We're not allowed to say that anymore, though.
Really?
Yeah, in the United States, that's racist, apparently. Well, at least in the last administration, it was racist. Now it's peanut gallery galore. Yeah.
Peanut gallery is when your point of view is irrelevant. You're just tossing peanuts. It's an old vaudeville term. And it's great to see the press finally have no control. Yeah. So it's going to be fun to watch this. It really is.
But there is two. Okay, so today was the first press briefing with the new press secretary. And what was exciting about that is I only saw two. I didn't get the roster, but I saw two podcast and streaming shows in the room. And I think that is
Wow.
such a huge shift to be, they can play
Wow.
Karine Jean-Pierre if they want to and say, I walk in history. I'm the
Oh,
first
my.
streamer to be invited to the press room. That shows that CNN's, NBC's, Wall Street Journal's, all of them, gone. Adios.
Gone, dude.
You guys, your time is over. Fox News, I'm talking to you too. Your time is ending.
You've been saying this a long time, Mike. And the whole point of streaming and live streaming and all this stuff, this is great news to me, hearing about the White House streaming being in the White House. But this is the very reason why the entire left and the media is becoming, quote, the peanut gallery or whatever you call it, because these right now, and we've said this for the last couple of years, the tsunami, the red wave that really has been starting at the last midterms, but the red wave, the tsunami that we're now seeing right now, technically the MAGA movement, it can't be silenced this time, Mike. It can't be silenced. Whenever we hear something in the media that's goofy from all the people, are you kidding me? Can you imagine listening to these press conferences the last 4 years, Mike? But they're called to task. They're called on the carpet. And whether it's the Joe Rogans, it's Jordan Petersons, honestly, it's the Mike Russells and Greg Meakins of the world. We're not going to be silenced this time. If you silence us on one platform, we'll go to another platform.
Agree.
So that's the difference. There was censorship in the press. I experienced it firsthand, even 20 years ago, and so bad. But now they won't keep us silent, Mike.
They can't. And the great part about that is that it isn't the Republicans. I'm sorry. When you say it's a red wave, I don't think it's a red wave. I honestly think it's a Gen X wave.
Right.
I think it is. I think it's a common sense wave.
Sure.
Unfortunately, the Republicans who have let us down time and time again in Washington, D.C., the ones that have a 93% incumbent reelection rate, they have let us down. Yet still, the leader of our movement, the leader of our movement of just common sense, back to the Constitution, back to the rule of law, has been co-opted by the Republican Party. So it seems like a red wave. I would say it's more of an independent, libertarian Gen X wave.
Yeah, I agree. And I called it 1950s handshake world. That's been my that's it. It's called common sense. But imagine, Mike, 1950s handshake world, which we both were raised with. You were raised with. I'll tell you what, I'm talking generations with you about your dad and your granddad and all this stuff. But we were raised with a handshake where we literally trusted each other. If you said something to me, and know it's the truth. But I call it 1950s handshake world. And now, the exciting thing to me, now we're melding with 2025 technology.
True.
So here we go.
And by the way, AI has been around a hot minute, a lot longer than we thought. I have a good friend I work with, who will some of you will meet him at the event. His name is Jim Guggenauer, and he has actually had his hands on both Mars rovers. And he goes, AI's. He goes, how do you know these things know how to turn left and turn right and get out of certain situations? It's because of AI. AI's been around a hot minute. So he said, this is nothing new. It's just new to us. So I think that's
hearing that they're multi-AI, 5 or something AI products or whatever, and they're actually competing amongst themselves. Scary, but yes.
Well, we've seen Terminator, so we know Skynet is soon to be upon us. Can I, before we get off this whole Jim Acosta thing, I do have to point out his best performance in CNN and just is so indicative of even today's reporting, because it's the same topic. But I just offer you, especially to my peeps here in Arizona, Jim Acosta at the southern border reporting that there's no problem at all. Here we go.
And here are some of the steel slats that the president's been talking about right here. As you can see, yes, you can see through these slats to the other side of the U.S.-Mexico border. But as we're walking along here, we're not seeing any kind of imminent danger. There are no migrants trying to rush toward this fence here in the McAllen, Texas area. As a matter of fact, there are some other businesses behind me along this highway. There's a gas station, Burger King, and so on. But no sign of the national emergency that the president has been talking about.
No sign of a national. You know why, Jim? I'm sorry about that, Greg. You know why, Jim? Because you're by a wall. And the wall actually works. So the man is standing by exactly what is being advertised by Donald Trump, proving that Donald Trump was right. I love this. I think that is one of the many reasons that man's never going to work in the industry again. But he'll join our ranks, and he will be on the streaming. You watch. He's going to definitely.
Well, Mike, it was like the mostly peaceful protest with the buildings burning behind him.
A bit fiery, but mostly peaceful.
God.
CNN's
this is just music to my ears. I never thought I'd see this day. Seriously, with the Acostas and with the executive orders coming down, a truly libertarian CEO approach to the country first. This is the first time, I'm telling you. I don't care what persuasion you are, everyone out there, or whatever country you come from out there. I'm telling you what, this is the first time in history we're going to watch a sovereign country be run by a CEO. Mm-hmm. And he's following that business plan right now, day by day. Like a CEO, he's like a moving freight train, making executive orders. He's going to pivot and re-aim and refire, all that fun stuff, proverbially. But this is CEO stuff. He made the mistake, Mike. We know this. He made the mistake in 2016 of thinking he was going to be a politician. And he went in there and terrible cabinet appointments and whatever. The appointments that we see right now, and this is just making me cry with joy. The appointments we're seeing right now, they have basically two things in common, every single one of them. And this was not 2016, Mike. The two things in common is, number one, they have 100% loyalty to President Trump and his CEO agenda, number one. Number two, and this is where we need their gifts. Their job is to execute his policy. And that's it. Loyalty, and then execute that policy like a CEO would say. And across the board, all of these cabinet picks we're seeing, I'm just saying that's the common denominator. I'm just excited about it. I didn't think in my 66 years I'd see it, Mike.
And aside from Kash Patel, they're all good looking.
Oh, I know.
Okay, I'm sorry. No, may I give you Exhibit A? May I submit Exhibit A for the record? That's your Secretary of Homeland Security right there. That's her. That's her today in New York.
Getting the dirt bags off these streets.
Getting the dirt bags off. Look at her. Can we just have this on the screen the whole time? Not our ugly mugs. Holy
screenshot. It's a new logo. That's Christy Nome. Rock and roll. Isn't that great?
Yeah. She's out there. Here, let's go. We're getting this scum off the streets, as she says.
Unbelievable.
There are three I'm sorry, Secretary Noam. There are three undocumented criminals in my house right now. They're hiding somewhere back there. They're hiding. You're gonna have to look for them for a while, ma'am. Come on in, please, Madam Secretary. Come on in. Can I get you a cup of coffee? Martini. Holy mackerel! Yeah. So all of his cabinet's still good looking. Let me look at our AG. Our AG is hot. Pete Hegseth, there's nobody not man crushing on Pete Hegseth. Let's be real. I mean, the guy's everything. He is Captain America for the Lord.
And he's got great hair, man. He's got great hair. You know, I'm impressed. I'll tell you, Hegseth's a perfect example, though. Seriously, a little controversial going in, whether he's the right choice or not. Just once again, loyal to the president and is going to execute his policy. I'm just totally excited about it.
But when it comes to Pete, look where the bar was set. Look where the bar was set from Lloyd Austin. Look at Austin and Milley together, just absolutely defiled the entire organization. Pete can only make it better. And I mean, he can make a couple of tweaks and say, I have succeeded. I have not failed, but I have succeeded this country.
Well, think about it, Mike. Milley goes over, talks to China and says, oh, by the way, don't worry about what Trump policy is. We're just ignoring him, right? Yeah. I mean, this kind of stuff. I'm saying, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
That is the stuff you won't see this term from the Trump team, but I'm excited about it.
Now, our northern border, which you're well aware of, you double agent.
Poser.
You Canadian American, you. Now the northern border has not failed us as much as the southern border, but we do admit that there have been some Canucks coming on down here and kind of outstaying their welcome. There is what do you think from a Canadian standpoint? What do you think of these immigration sweeps? How they're being televised? Because for me, it is a wonderful example of the lack of education that we have in this country when you have an administration saying we are rounding up criminals, only criminals, and that there's pushback for rounding up criminals. It blows me away. Dual citizenship, how does it look from that side?
Tell you what, probably the best kept secret in the world, censored, is the soft underbelly of illegal immigration, which is the Canadian border. Tell you what, and this is out of my lane a little bit. I've had geniuses on like the Gordon Kessler and stuff that go way back in Alberta politics and stuff. And I'll tell you what, that Canadian border, Mike, north of Montana and the Dakotas area and stuff, I'm telling you what, that hombre is poured in through the Vancouver, BC port of entry. I mean, I'm talking over the decades, and literally just strolled on down to the States through that Montana, through the Dakotas, whatever. And this is out of my lane.
Okay.
But you want to do some analysis on that? There has been literally huge numbers pouring in. I'm going to say it. Chinese Communist Party related stuff. Bad boy, bad hombre related stuff, human trafficking, fentanyl trafficking. I'll tell you what, when this stuff gets disclosed, because that has been a soft underbelly, Mike, when this stuff's being disclosed, Trump might once again sound correct about what he's been saying and saying, hey, the northern border is actually a serious, not a talking point, it's a serious national journey.
I mean, not to the point of 250,000 a month, though, right?
No. But and again, over the course of a decade or two, it's simply been, I call it the soft underbelly. That said, the independence movements that you're seeing when Trump came out with the Canada 51, we've been talking about that for years. I'm saying Alberta 51, but however, all this stuff, Justin Trudeau's behavior, the border, the soft underbelly border, boy, that sounds like a talking point. Yeah. Justin Trudeau, even Joe Biden, these people are responsible for the strength of these independence movements, Mike, because people are sick of it. The people, boots on the ground, skates on the ice, they're sick of it. It's the same in America, same up in Canada. The cool thing about Canada, to follow it, which I really try not to, seriously, the cool thing about it, if you analyze Canada, it shows you what America could become in 5 to 10 years from a socialist standpoint. I saw laws, and even as we speak today, we see laws and kind of things that are accepted by the culture that down in America, we wouldn't believe it until it came our way. I saw the signs in Quebec, public signs, illegal to see them in English, my language. It was French only. Illegal. What do you mean? Well, you literally could get arrested. I've seen a French only all the way down the line, as far as no French and English, just French only. And I again, if we don't think in America that could happen, I get a little bit nervous of the everything Spanish and English, Spanish and press 2 for Spanish. I'm saying, just based on Canadian laws in the past, this could happen where you will literally have stuff outlawed or that we never dreamed before. So that's a long monologue on it, but watch Canada closer than you think, because it'll give us some secrets about ourselves.
If you say 10 years, though, I think these 4 slow it down quite a bit. I think 4 slow it down. When I say a little bit, I mean a lot of bit. Yeah. Because this is right now we have the brakes being pulled. And I've said this too. And Greg, I think you'll come with me on this. And I think that we do need, in this country, we do need progressives. We do need left-leaning liberals. We do need super conservative Republicans as well. That is a balance, because the progressives are trying to just take us in a whole different directions. And the Republicans like, whoa, slow. Kind of like the House and the Senate. The House is supposed to pass a bunch of bills. Senate's like, slow your roll, y'all. Right. Let's hang tight on this. So I think this is a complete, we saw 4 years of the progressives running like hell to the left and taking the country with them. And now we have the brakes being put, and even some cases being put in reverse.
Well, we'll see. This is an era of Reagan Democrats, where Reagan and Trump reached out, not to just obviously his own party, but he cast a real broad net to Democrats, independents, etc. The cliche of JFK Democrats is true. It's not a cliche. There are moderate Democrats, and I believe, because I was raised with JFK Democrats, Mike, not Republicans or whatever, up in Canada. But we're seeing a wave now, even speaking about this 1950s handshake world, where the Bill Maher's of the world are coming around a little bit, just not on everything. I'm not a fan, but on some stuff where you're saying, God, they're sounding like a JFK Democrat. They're reasonable. There was a time, especially in the 60s, where liberalism and everything else was really much needed. We needed these things. We needed an element of liberalism. There was some pretty funky stuff going on in past generations, but we needed trade unions at one time. But it's just not the time.
Nope.
So I reach a broad. I love to cast out a big net in terms of, again, two Democrats, two independents, to everybody. Can we find common ground? I think that's what we're talking about, Mike. And I think that's this era right now. Because the big secret is Trump puts out a big net. He casts a wide net, and people don't appreciate that.
And by the way, I'm a Bill Maher fan. If you haven't seen this picture, I'm actually a Bill Maher fan. This was my gift. This was one of my gifts to go see him from Queen Bee.
Really?
And
Did you meet him?
I just went to the show. And sure. I'm just a fan. I've been a fan for a very long time. I don't agree with a lot of the things that he said. Right. I just think his delivery, at least, and he says this very clearly. It's like, I didn't come around to anything. Correct. I haven't moved.
Yep.
The party moved away from me.
Correct.
And that's why I have that kind of respect for him. It's so funny. You should have seen people flowing into this. It was at Celebrity Theater. I think I don't know what they call it now. But it was just people filing, and they're straight out of liberal central casting. Sure. Like they're out of every liberal arts college that you could possibly imagine, and you can just tell right away. They've traveled to go to the DNC to see Kamala. I mean, they were mortified when he was on stage. I mean, absolutely, he was getting booed at times. Yes. Yeah, I'm telling you, man, the guy is but
I think that's what's happening. I think that's what's happening. And I'm saying to everybody, you're going to be surprised in the Senate and the Congress how many Democrats are voting. How many Democrats are voting with Republicans this time around? Yeah. I think you're going to be surprised.
Well, you're not allowed to know that, though. You see when they're in the voting booth, they're voting for Trump. When they come out, they're like, so happy to see the first woman president tonight. Can't wait, everyone. But they voted for Trump.
That was in the book, actually. It's called Trump Posters. And this was during the Hillary days. Where Trump Posters. Oh, dude, wordsmith. Remember, Mike, you're the second best wordsmith I know.
Appreciate
in
that.
Arizona. Slappies. That's my favorite. Slappies. I got to go. Ducks in a Row Feminists. Remember that one? Mm-hmm. You like that one a lot.
I love that one.
Yes. But seriously, watching the Mars and watching even the Jon Stewarts and stuff. Excuse me. There we go. My mic. Watching those guys, I think it truly is. It's going to be that the Democrat Party left the Democrats. Canada left me. I didn't leave Canada. I loved my Canada, and it seriously was what the quote cliches or labeled word. It really was. But the Canada left me, especially from a political standpoint, and so I think that's what's happening. And I think the Mars and it's interesting to hear that you actually listened to his whole show, and the Jon Stewart stuff. Jon Stewart, remember the Wuhan lab piece? Do you remember that?
Oh yeah,
dude, it's on his business card.
Should be
the Wuhan lab.
Should be.
So, if anything, reaching out to my Democrat buddies. It'd be, and like I've said to my Republican buddies over the years, don't be a partisan jerk. Don't be a partisan jerk. Listen to everybody's ideas. Come over and vote. You're allowed to vote with the other party. That's permitted. So hopefully you get me on
straight line Democrat when it comes to the Corporation Commission.
Oh,
I'm like you on the take. And if you raise my SRP APS bill one more time, you Republicans that we keep putting in there. And I want a discount on solar. So yes, Corporation Commission, all Democrat.
I never would have said this really till exactly what you're saying. I'm seeing corporations now, and I was never an anti-corporation guy, but I'm getting there.
Yeah,
I'm getting there watching these guys go about their business and big pharma and all that stuff. And like I said to you, and I think the pre-show is, I'm a libertarian, but I would have no problem whatsoever, Mike, if we banned pharmaceutical commercials on bloody television.
Agreed.
Period.
Because and by the way, it's just sending a bad message. If you're treating erectile dysfunction, you don't sit in two bathtubs. You don't sit in separate bathtubs. That's your problem. You don't need a pill, dude. You need to get in the same tub with the woman. And then nature just takes its course after that. That's why pharmaceutical ads are both confusing and they're extremely deceptive. And I'm so sick and tired. And I know you come with me, Greg, on this. I'm so sick and tired of everything has a pill. There's a pill for that. There's a pill for that. So it's just a beautiful segue. St. Greg's for rodeo. It's a beautiful segue to a piece that I saw that I'm going to play a little bit. I'm going to play a couple minutes for it because I really want you to take in what is being said here, because our nation is being poisoned intentionally. And when this all comes out, you think the guy driving the limo shot JFK, you think that everybody shrugged their shoulders and said, yeah, we probably knew that. No one seemed to care. When this comes out, we are going to, there is going to be mass hysteria and people will be held to account. We hope. Let's check it out.
And now they call it SNAP, and not as in food stamps changed to Snapchat. They literally changed the name for food stamps to SNAP because it's called Supplemental Nutritional Assistance Program. I didn't even know they changed it, but apparently they changed it because they said food stamps was a little bit offensive, so they kind of wanted to find a different name for it. It is what it is. The name was changed in 2008 to reduce stigma associated with the program, since we've had food stamps in place since 1939.
Right thing to do.
It is what it is. Okay. So this article, food stamps. Crazy stats, 75% of the $115 billion spent in SNAP funding goes to processed food, and 10% of all SNAP food stamp funding goes to soda.
Okay, if you just have those stats alone, you go to Congress and you say RFK, just hold his hand up. RFK Jr. has been nominated. Forget about this. Don't even vote on this. 75% of SNAP programs of food stamps go to processed foods. 10%, not of that, 10% total. 10% total. One out of every $10 spent on supplemental nutrition is soda. I am absolutely blown away by that number.
That's like insane. And once again, a disclosure, let us all know that. And we're finally seeing this stuff disclosed, just like in this great video right here.
Right. And that's the thing. So I maybe
It's
tell us in the comments. Tell us in the comments. Well, the first time you were driving by, or maybe you went to a fast food joint. I'm not begrudging anyone to go to fast food joint.
Yeah, sure.
I will crush some Taco Bell if I didn't have to take a second out on the house for it all of a sudden. When the hell did that get expensive?
Sure.
But when you saw in the window, we accept EBT.
Yep.
We accept food stamps. And you saw that on a fast food joint. I was floored by that. I was like, this makes all kind of zero sense right now.
Absolutely. And to hear that, changing it to SNAP, that it's actually a branding or marketing thing. Branding and marketing should not be used with our health.
Yeah, true.
And the stigma, we're talking about EBT and SNAP. It used to be called, of course, food stamps.
Food stamps, yeah.
Nothing wrong with those.
Nope.
No stigma whatsoever. However, those people needed help, and that's exactly the way it is. However, once again, there's nothing wrong with helping out people, giving helping hand during the food stamp days, giving them a hand up. However, when it becomes a career, an income opportunity, SNAP, EBT, all that stuff, that's when the culture really changed, when it became entitlements and stuff. And the good news is, I think stuff like that's going to change, Mike. I really do. With the new sheriff in town. Seriously, reform. Are you kidding?
What I love about it is he can't, and I don't care who's pushing. By the way, congressmen and women, stop pushing changes to the Constitution to allow him a third term. Just stop, please. Right. You're making us look like I saw legislation today that want to put him on Mount Rushmore. Just stop. Just stop poking the bear. Just get your head down. Go to work. Do what was promised. You'll raise your head up. You'll be at election time. You're going to get reelected. Stop doing the stupid stuff. But I want to say this because, again, you come from socialist Canada.
Yep.
And the United States of America. You have dual citizenship. So I think that we do. And I know it's a bad term for people to understand. There are some socialist-esque programs that we have here in the United States. And some of these social programs are exactly what that is. But I think as the difference is, and I'm going to speak for the Gen X, we the people here, is that a lot of us, not most of us, I would say a lot of Gen Xers, sometime their family has been on some sort of help from the government. And we the people agreed here in the United States, look, we know hard times happen, and
Right.
we got you. We totally got you. If you lose your business, you fall in bad health,
Exactly.
or you lose a loved one that was the primary breadwinner, or whatever, we got you for
Right.
a period of time. This is
Right.
bridge financing is what this is, and we're not even going to
Exactly.
ask for it back. We just want you to get
Exactly.
back on your feet.
Exactly. And that was the principle. We're talking 1950s handshake business. That was the principle. The churches used to take care of most of the social welfare and stuff. But what you're mentioning, it's really more, it's so powerful when you've gone through it yourself. And 20 years ago, I went through that. Again, you know me, I am a true libertarian.
Yep.
States' rights, reduce federal government, all that stuff. But I'll tell you what, the bad rap that Seattle and Washington State get, which is really deserved in the last 5 years.
Thank you.
Washington State saved me, Mike.
Okay.
Saved me and my family. I had, like, a lot of people don't realize the small business aspect of this. I lost a small business. I lost my ass in 2004. Most type A guys I know have.
Yep.
But I was stuck because I was a company owner and I didn't qualify for anything, unemployment insurance, blah, blah, blah. But the state of Washington stepped in, and I had my wonderful wife, and I had 3 boys at home. Youngsters. Young teens and stuff.
Oh God!
And the state
Grocery
of
bill
Washington,
alone. Yeah.
oh, dude, anyhow, the state of Washington stepped in, and I'll tell you what, I'm not a social program guy, but they stepped in,
Yeah.
and they immediately swooped in. They took care of Deborah seriously, as far as food, food, medical for her and the kids, dental for her and her kids. I always believe in dental for health, and I'm saying for that 1 year or so of time in life, they saved me, as I wouldn't have known what to do otherwise. Is there a place for social, call it protection, safety net? Hell yeah.
That's right.
Hell
Safety
yeah.
nets. Hell
But
yes.
as soon as you get a bag of money, Mike, and Harry Brown, libertarian candidate for president, taught me this in the 90s. As soon as you get a bag of money, no matter what the intentions were, everyone wants a piece of it. And right now with the internet, now everyone's got a fraud piece of it.
Oh yeah.
Sadly, social programs produced by government never work because it's too easy to get to the bag of money, Mike.
Yep.
So there you go.
Yeah,
I think that was like a rant. Was that a rant?
No, I love it because you can say with different religions, and if we can talk about the Catholic Church right now when it comes to immigration, we can definitely smack them around a little bit. But I'll tell you this: I have a lot of friends that are not a lot. I have several friends that are Mormon, and some that are very practicing Mormon.
Sure.
One of the things that I've always admired about the Mormon church is they take care of their own. They definitely take care, and they take care of others too. If you see it as a tithe, them taking care of Catholic families, they're the biggest tithe of the Catholic Church in the world. So, but here's the deal: you go to the church, you say, "I'm having some hard time. I can't pay my bills. I can't." You know what they do? They audit you. They don't do it like a bad way, like a Gestapo kind of way. They just say, "Okay, let's go over your finances. Let's talk about what we need to do." They look and they say, "Okay, now here's where you need to cut. Here's where you need to cut. Here's where you need to cut. We're going to give you this. We're going to pay this, and this, and you're going to be back on your feet in no time." That's the way. That is the way.
Tell you what, you're right on the money there with the Mormons. I have deep connections with the Mormons. I have a couple of dear friends up in Seattle who are bishops. And they're, believe it or not, met them in the car business, finance guys in the car business. Mormons are very, very responsible and very entrepreneurial. And
you mean they're not taking a paycheck from the church?
Oh my God!
See,
one
of the cool things about the Mormon church is that it's all volunteer. There's no six-figure salaries in the church in their world.
We could do a whole show on this. They're property owners. I think they're like one of the biggest property owners in Florida or something.
They're the biggest landowners in the nation for sure.
But the thing about them, and this is true through so many other cultures. You see this with the Amish. You see this elsewhere, is again, we never needed governments as a civilization. We were tribal. We took care of ourselves as a group of individuals, teaming up together, no government, no taxes, whatever. And I think we're seeing, and we see that, as I say, even within the people I know within awesome religions, a lot of just faith-based people that do exactly what you're saying, Mike. They take care of each other during tough times. They rally to the cause, but you can't be no 2, 3, 4 year couch surfer with them.
Correct.
You got to get back to work.
Yes,
That's the
I
whole
actually
point.
lived my last house in Huntington Beach. My neighbors was 6 surfers. They were all just living
Nice.
off the government, and that's just all they did.
Those overachievers, those
I'm telling
SoCal
you.
surfers, boy,
I'm
they were overachievers, weren't they?
By the way,
Jeez.
you brought up the Amish. Did you know the Amish loophole? I was a couple years ago. I was talking to some kids at Amish, and I was like, "There's no way you guys built that with wood hammers and all
Oh,
this
yeah.
nonsense. You didn't." They said, "No, we didn't." I said, "Well, what'd you use?" They go, "So we have power tools." I said, "You're not allowed to have power tools if you're Amish." He goes, "Only if we borrow them." I swear, I'm like, "That's the loophole. That is the loophole. If we borrow them, we're good. We don't own them." I'm like, "That's pretty."
See, that's working the system. Oh my boy, I tease my LDS buddies up in Seattle seriously for stuff like that. No, I work the system as long as it's for the good of God. In the end, as long as it's for the right outcome. I will tell you, I joke seriously with my Mormon friends, and I've joked about this with Mark and Janelle Lamb because they're LDS, right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't know that they're Mormons, and I just say, you guys amaze me. Yeah, and the Mormon guys I work with in the car business, dude. I said, you guys amaze me. You're like Superman. You get up at like 3:30 in the morning. You're like out helping your neighbor build a house before breakfast. Then you have breakfast. Then you go to work for 14 hours a day, and then you come back from work and you go take the kids down to the mall face painting. Yeah. You guys are amazing. You're Superman. Seriously.
You don't watch football on Sunday.
No. We'll go football. The Cardinals. I wanted to say something about the Cardinals since I was going to say no. Is this good?
Kick a man while he's down.
No. Next year, Joe Biden's going to be coaching the Cardinals. Okay, and they're going to be the only team that punts on first down.
Yes.
Okay?
There we go.
So just to make you feel better,
I wouldn't doubt that Bidwell. I wouldn't doubt if Bidwell made that move. Because actually, he'd be a better quarterback than what we have now. I've said it. I said it. I said it. It's been a 6-year failed experiment. 6 years of failed experiment. Time to move on to a quarterback that is over 6 feet tall. Let's get back to this. Though. I want to go back because another crazy stats coming in. I want you to say another insane stat. Check us out.
You share this with me.
How crazy is that?
How crazy? So, but how do you process that information?
Corruption, criminal lobbying at the level of Congress. This is the way it works. These big food companies lobby to Congress under the guise of classism, elitism, or racism, and say these foods have to be available on food stamps. And then, what do humans in the most susceptible, parts of the world and the most susceptible income classes do? But they buy junk food. 10% of food stamp SNAP funding goes to soda. I mean, why is soda even allowed to be used on food stamps? I think the argument against this idea or for this idea is that this is all that's available for humans. But it's crazy, right? Like water comes out of the tap. A lot of it's fluoridated, as we talked about. But humans can drink things besides soda. I don't understand why any junk food is allowed to be purchased with food stamps. But 75% of food stamp purchases are junk food. I mean, this is, and the problem here is that this gets full circle because taxpayers pay for food stamps. So our taxes, your taxes, my taxes go to pay for the food stamps program. And then our taxes go to pay for the medical care when people get sick from these ultra-processed foods.
Here we go.
And I think at this point, it's really incontrovertible to suggest that these foods are not making people sick. You can look at historically, you can look at those people we had from Weston A. Price. I mean, these foods are, I would say, the single greatest driver of chronic illness, which is one of the single greatest drivers of healthcare spending, which is one of the single greatest drivers on our economy and the health of our nation available. And people can use food stamps fund to buy these foods, which is making us sick. And then our tax dollars go to pay for healthcare on the back end of all of this. So it's just this vicious cycle. Everyone is connected together. We talked about it a little earlier in the podcast. The FDA is captured, the NIH is captured, the USDA is captured, and they're all connected with pharma. I don't think we mentioned on the podcast yet, but 47% of the funding for the FDA comes from the pharmaceutical industry.
47% of the funding for the Food and Drug Administration comes from Big Pharma. If that isn't a smoking gun, I don't know. I have the chills head to toe right now. I got the Chris Matt, the little tingles going up my leg. I'm seriously freaked out by this. This is a smoking gun.
All people ever ask me, Mike, I see tons and tons of people. All they ask me is, can we even fix this mess? I mean, can we even fix this? I want to throw up when I hear those kind of stats.
I think we can.
I don't know if we can fix this mess, but we can sure take a big bite out of the bear.
Yeah.
Okay? We can take and it to make America healthy again, maha or whatever you want to call it.
Tomato.
Who can argue with that? I'm proud to say, total side note, live radio. I'm totally proud to say I was really conscious and aware of this. And I'm not in any way a physical fitness guy or whatever, but a long time ago, I made the decision. I do not drink soda of any kind. I do not, believe it or not, I don't do salt of any kind, whatever. But, and that's not bad, I know. But,
are you speaking French? Or did you just go Canadian on me? I don't understand what you just said. I got this soda part, and I'm 20 something years away from soda, but I really want to. I really
No,
seriously salt, bro.
I don't sprinkle salt on anything. I just decided that like decades ago. Either way.
Okay.
But also, this sounds funny.
I salt everything.
I don't know. I know. My Irish uncle Norman in Montreal, dude, we'll tell stories about that.
Yeah.
Salting, meat barbecues, and a lot of alcohol. Okay, we'll talk about that sometime.
Hey, and remember what Willie Nelson said. There are more old drunks than there are old doctors.
Oh, big time.
Yep.
You're never gonna. I was told by a mentor once, you're never gonna die from what you think you are.
Amen.
Think about that for a second.
Yeah.
But the other thing is, I don't like basically taking pills, pharmaceuticals in general, but I do take one single blood pressure pill a day, which I have for like 30 years. It's a hereditary thing. But literally, I just cut down to one. I got the one, and that's it. Because as a general life policy, I don't like pharmaceuticals. General life policy. Oh, Grizz Pashke in the cat once again. Who let this guy in? Who let Grizz Pashke in, dude? Anyone will come.
A staple of the program. Thank you.
Oh, I know. And also, I'm the first guy you ever get you've ever had on your show, I bet you, who's never had a gun, never owned a gun, and doesn't have salt on his food. Okay,
we're talking about that for sure. We're going to get to that.
Grizz will kick me out of the next bar we're in someday. There you go. Come on, man.
Yes,
I love Grizz. I love culture.
So I actually, because you mentioned your uncle, I'm going to talk about my hero, my grandfather. That I learned when I was 35 that he's not my biological grandfather.
Right.
Anyway, so you said the handshake. You said the handshake. My inheritance when my grandfather died. My grand inheritance. Now he had land, apartment buildings. You know where all the new Roosevelt district is downtown? He owned a good chunk of that land that we sold for a song. Wow. But my great inheritance was a single cab Chevy Silverado long bed. That was his work truck. That was that was my inheritance. Oh,
what year?
You're killing me. I'm going 68. To say no. It was a newer models, probably 01, 2000 or 01. It was his work truck.
Right.
I get the thing, has no power. Literally cranking the windows up like this, like it was in the 60s. Cranking the windows up. It had AC, and that was it. It had a radio that had been stolen that he had to replace. And this thing had and so I told my grandma, I said, Grandma, I don't, this truck doesn't even have power. And she goes, oh, I know. And I said, well, why'd he buy it? She goes, he didn't think he bought a truck without power, but he got it home. And I said, honey, this doesn't even have power windows or power door locks. You need to take this thing back and get something with power. He said, I shook that man's hand. We made a deal.
Wow, dude. Oh, wow, man. Oh, wow.
Yeah. That was, and anyone in the Valley who's been in the trades in the Valley for decades, wow. You'll know Dick Neely. That was my grandfather. And if you're probably smiling as I tell that story, because that is a classic him. A handshake is a deal. It is.
You just proved it.
He owned Neely Tile, which later became Arizona Tile. Neely Tile, and he told his the two general managers that he had running the place for him. He said, when I turn 60 years old, I'm retiring. 64 years old, I'm retiring. And you guys are taking over the business. On his birthday, they didn't even know what was happening. On his birthday, he showed up with legal documents, signing the business over to him. He said, here's the terms. The company's now yours. I'm gone. Wow. I told you 12 years ago, I shook your hand, told you this company was yours when I was turned 64.
Wow.
Yeah. That's the way we need to stick to it.
Well, and honestly, there's still that left in the world, Mike.
Yeah.
you know, and we have 1950s handshake business, but I also have a chapter in my book from years ago about car buying. I don't know if you knew that. I published
Yeah,
a
you're
book,
in the biz, weren't you?
Secrets from the Inside,
Yeah.
how to buy a new car below dealer cost. I was a upper manager in the auto industry and stuff. And I published that book before the internet, how to buy a car. But through all the meeting, all the people I have over the years and stuff, I put a chapter in there saying the larceny of consumers. The larceny of consumers, meaning if you talk, because we're talking about your granddad there with a handshake deal. If you talk to any consumer today, because this is the era of consumerism with the internet, you talk to any consumer today, let's say in the car business, every single one of them, you know what they'll say to you, Mike? I'll say, hey, what do you want in a car deal? Think of your granddad here, Mike. What do you want in a car deal? What do you want to accomplish and stuff? And every single time they say, we just want a good, reliable car. We don't mind paying a fair price. We just don't want the hassle or to be messed around. And you know what? That's BS. No, that is total. I say BS.
Really? All right.
Oh, yeah. Because of larceny of consumers. And I'm saying this, that I believe, especially as we get so internet addicted, I believe there's a huge element of people that just want best price.
Sure.
And I'll tell you what, they'll sacrifice their own little German Shepherd doggy for the best price. I've known Subaru buyers who would drive 200 miles to save $50.
Mm-hmm.
However, they don't represent themselves that way. So that's a whole new, I mean, that's actually a show unto itself, the larceny.
Yeah.
The American consumer, and this is everyone, this is why there's game playing in sales. You know sales, Mike.
Oh, yeah.
They need to feel that they won. Whether it's buying at Costco, bankruptcy sales, they need to feel that emotionally, whether it's true or not.
Because that's the ego to your friend.
Oh,
so you can't talk about that car in the driveway and how much it cost you unless you're like, yeah, I got that thing 5,000 below MSRP.
Sure.
Yeah, I got a great deal on that thing. They don't talk about the time they spent in the dealership. You're right. They don't talk about how reliable that truck's going to be for the next 10, 15 years. They're talking about that they got it for below market.
Correct. They have to be able to say that, whether it's right or not. And the funny thing is, here we go. We need to do a whole show on just the car business sometime, but Ford taught me this. I've been trained by brilliant companies. Ford, Saturn in 1996, Honda and Toyota primarily. And this is where I was taught the generations. But with Ford, it was so amazing. They said, everyone says it's price. Everyone advertises price. That's where you get clickbait from. That's where you get bait and switch from. Because the truth is, Ford did a massive survey on this. And it was of the, quote, 20 things that people remember about their car deal, let's say a year later, of the 20 things they remember, price was like number 18, like way down there. Number one, how they were treated and whether it was an authentic experience. No one cared about price as soon as you signed the paperwork. So those types of things really guided my thinking. But that's where a lot of my 1950s marries itself to the internet world. We can all get along, and we can also, all generations, do better in every way by listening to each other and working with each other. That was a little monologue right there, Mike.
I'm okay with the monologue. That's what your co-host. You're not a guest, you're a co-host. I couldn't shut Rob up at times. I was just like, I'm gonna go make a sandwich. I'll talk to you at the next commercial break.
Dude.
Hey, boy.
Yeah.
And I did the same. It was funny because we would look at each other and hold each other off. The hand signals him and I had, most were the the unicorn, fist. But yeah, we had a lot of hand signals to each other, like, dude, shut up. I'm on a roll. I can't stop.
Sure,
and he'd look at me and go like this. He'd look at me and go like this. It'd be like, dude, go, don't play, don't stop, dude, go, stay with what you're on. Love it.
Talk. The cool thing is, any good radio guy, which is you and me and Rob and so many others, we can take over the mic and just do monologues, even if it's the entire show, if we have to. And not many people has that gift. We'll have a show on just Rob Hunter someday, man. We'll talk about Massachusetts.
We just got a new work order in today, so we still do voice work together for corporate sales training. Yeah, we just got a new work order in today, so we'll be doing
Oh,
our
cool.
thing.
Say
Yeah.
hi to Rob. I haven't
I
talked to him in a
will.
while. I know, and he has had some struggles health-wise, a little bit there, and his new business getting off the ground. I really, really wish him the best. Do say hi to him if you talk to him before me.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
Like I said, the little brother I never wanted. There
Uh,
he is, right there.
But
Yep.
Rob, I'll say this to his face: Rob's a different cat.
Yeah.
He's a different little cat. As I say, I joke, but he's from Massachusetts, kind of during my era, a little younger. He obviously he's younger. I'll tell stories about that guys like that in the Boston area and in hockey and the whole thing, and they are different cats right there. And I would love, though, I would love, love, love to catch up with Rob someday on air too, because no matter what, he's got the gift. Both of you did. You guys got the gift, and you were an incredible team together, dude.
I appreciate that. He just so we're aware that it said no more. Let's say, so Jim said no mass holes.
Oh, here we go, dude. I haven't.
I mean, he did tell me. I mean, during the time where he left KFYI and then he did this and then left. I remember one of the texts I got from Rob, and I don't think he's gonna blush if I even tell him this. He said this. He goes, my friend, I am a complex human being. And no, I don't know if any truer words were spoken. He is, and that's what makes him amazing. Yeah. His laugh makes him even more amazing.
The mass hole thing is great.
His dedication, his friendship, and his reliability make him another. So yeah.
Oh, 1 in a million. The mass hole thing makes me laugh because I've said that several times on air over the years. And I might consider, like, we'll sit and tell a story sometime about the Boston area and mass holes and stuff. I'll tell you about getting drilled in the jaw by a Boston Bruins fan. We know those things. That's for another show. But oh yeah, I know those Boston boys real well. Starting the story in the 70s and 80s. So we'll have a Rob Hunter show sometime, and really will.
Well, he has to pay his bet.
What? Oh, dude, what was that?
He's got to wear a MAGA hat. I was gonna have to wear a Kamala hat, and he said if Trump wins, he has to wear a MAGA hat on the show.
Oh, I love it.
I think he saw some polling, and that's why he backed out. He's like, no, I don't think I want to do this anymore. I don't think I want to do this anymore. The polling is there.
Oh, that's so funny. I would love to see sometime. Seriously, I'd love to see a true, again, 1950s Republican from Massachusetts. Seriously, because I haven't seen one, and so on. They're all either rhinos or, Elizabeth Warren. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
Hey, look. Hey. Yeah. When she starts talking about, I think the scariest thing, Liz Warren, and this will take you right back to Canada. I think one of the things that is the scariest thing she says is when she says, what is it? Overfunded retirement accounts. I don't know if there's a scarier term that a politician in the United States has brought up than overfunded retirement accounts. Meaning you have too much money in your retirement account. It belongs to us now. That is one of the scariest things I've ever heard anyone saying. It's courtesy of Chief Runamuck.
Wow. Pocahontas. You don't think Trump brands stuff great, calling her Pocahontas. That's hung in. He branded fake news. I mean, really hit down on the branding. There's stuff he's brought it again. Encyclopedias will have his words 10, 15 years from now,
Oh, what was it? We had a Brewman's t-shirt. I think I'll find some. The Brewman's t-shirt said no fake brews.
Oh,
yeah, it was the no fake.
If you have an extra,
we'll find you.
Put that aside.
I'll find you.
Size medium, 147 pounds now.
Gotcha. Weighing in at 147. All right, let's look at this one more time so you guys get a look at the book. The book is Why I Came to America. You got to go grab it. Obviously, it's on
Amazon. Ebook on Amazon right now, Mike. $5 ebook on Amazon. Why I Came to America, What I Think Now. Hope we do this again, man. This has been a blast. Been a blast.
We have to do it again. It is going to be a regular thing. So, Brendan, you're up as well. Grizz, you are up as well. Jim, everybody's going to be coming along. Nice. And you guys are going to do guest hosting. Again, it's not an interview. We're just going to talk and BS like Greg and I did. So that's what we're going to do.
And I did bring I didn't need to use it, but I brought my whistle today, Mikey.
Yeah. See, yeah,
that's in case you got out of control.
I keep playing. I don't hear that crap. I'm going to keep playing. You keep swinging until someone grabs you and stops you. I can't believe Brendan has pulled that. Lane Myers. That's right. Oh my good Lord. If you don't catch it, Greg, that is from the movie Better Off Dead. The two Japanese men who learned English by listening to Howard Cosell and Wide World of Sports. Fantastic.
You've got a great audience, Mike.
We do.
And they really are. They're
Our peeps.
SRFs, Stark Raving
peeps.
fans. I can't wait to do this again with you, man. I really
We're going to do it, bud. And Rhonda, get ready. Better get your chops ready. We're going to make it happen. All right, Greg Meakin, thank you so much, man. Appreciate you and appreciate all of your support, your love, your dedication to everything great in this country, even though you're a dual citizen. Well, all right.
At least I'm not from Toronto, dude. At least I'm not from Toronto.
See, no one even knows what that means. We don't even know what that means. I mean, here in America, we'll say, at least I'm not from Portland, or at least I'm not from New York City,
Montreal, Toronto, dude. Forget your old rivalries. Montreal, Toronto. It was like the last 100 years, it's been a rivalry. So every time I get on screen, anytime, I make sure I trash the Toronto Maple Leafs at least once. And
there we go.
There you go.
There you go. There you go. Down with the Maple Leafs. All right, then all hail Gretzky. There we go. All right, buddy. All right, guys. We'll see you tomorrow at noon.